Well, my agent was John Cleese's agent, and they'd had a girl that was meant to go up for this part, and she pulled out. So my agent got a phone call saying, would Sue like to read for it? And that's how I went for the audition, and they said, yeah.
As a group?
Well, very different. Do you know what I mean? They're very different personalities. John Cleese was much more business-like. Terry was a bit scatty. Eric was a little bit, at the time, a bit tight because he just had a divorce and he was a little bit touchy. Well, not to each other, but you know, to someone like me as an outsider, who was a bit more aware with him. And Terry Gilliam, he was mad, completely mad, so wonderful. And then Graham Chapman, he at the time had just come out, so he wasn't, again with women, he was a little bit, I felt a bit, watch my step. So they were very different, you know, they all had different approaches. Together they were just incredible because they interrelated so well, and the wit, and the, you know, just used to sit there and just listen thinking, ah. I had done loads of work up till then. Well, I can never remember the sequence of events. Well, mainly it had been university. I'd done musical theatre, I'd done some Shakespeare. I hadn't done any comedy. Yeah, and I'd never watched the Pythons particularly when I was at university. I mean, they were big when I was at university, but nobody that I shared with had a telly. And it was mainly the blokes who were more obsessed with it. So, you know, the blokes I knew would probably find a telly to watch it. But, you know, I was aware of it, but I can't say I'd followed them. I don't know, tolerance, you know. We never discussed what the message was or what the themes were. I think it would have been, that, to me anyway, it would have been that, but, you know, being open and just communicating with people and not thinking that your way is right. I mean, I think they've spoken about it, but to me it was just a wonderful piss take of all the things about religions and people getting obsessed with things that are negative. That,
yeah.
You know, don't contribute to people behaving compassionately towards each other and with any joy and imaginative is all the stuff that keeps it all tight. So I thought it was great. Where they could do what they liked almost, do you know what I mean? I would stick to my script, I wouldn't mess them around, but they would improvise.
Right. Okay.
I mean, they kept to the script, but sometimes if they were doing lots of takes, they would just carry on. So I'm not quite sure. I wish I'd kept my script, my original script. I'm not sure how much they did deviate. I mean, there was a lot cut from the script that was brilliant because they just overran so much. Well, I think humour always seems to be a good way to transcend people's initial, oh, you can't talk about that. You know, like the stoning. I mean, it's a dreadful, dreadful thing, stoning people to death. But the way they did it, I don't know whether they'd get away with it today, mind you, but I mean, people did take offence, obviously, at all of it, but it's hard not to find that that approach doesn't generate questions. Just as a stroppy little Welsh woman who kind of got cross with her bloke because he never did the things that she would have expected him to do, you know what I mean? Because he ends up getting crucified. You mean, you think, oh, for goodness sake, you know, you not have sorted yourself out better. Well, they weren't blokes that wrote for women particularly, you know. I don't think they put much thought into what she did. She just had some lines and get on with them, really. Well, they thought it had been banned and they issued a BBC Wales did something on it, and immediately people said, no, that's not true, we saw it in Aberystwyth. So I think it was shown and maybe then withdrawn when people kind of thought, oh, this isn't. So it did get shown. But
yes.
Once it was out there that it had been banned, nobody would believe you when you said actually it wasn't, because people liked the story of it being banned much more. It had been shown. Because it was banned in some places. It was banned in Fishguard where I'm from. My mum and dad never got to see it, which I was eternally grateful for. Yes, because once the BBC here had said they thought it had been, and that had all gone viral, we thought, well, we may as well now show it as a response. We thought, well, if we're going to do that, we may as well do it for charity. You know, and it's a mushroom from that, and then we did show it for charity. And then they did come, Michael and Terry. No, so stupid, you know, you just do a film, it's a bit of work, you're enjoying it, it's a hoot out there, you don't think, how will people look at this? Because we were all into it, and we're watching rushes and killing ourselves laughing, and you don't really, well, I certainly didn't think of the overall, because at the time you had things like Hair, Jesus Christ Superstar, there was a lot of things happening about religion, looking at it in a different way, so it wasn't like it was the only thing around that was picking up a religious theme.
Yes.
So I suppose I was kind of stupidly, because I've been a Jesus Christ Superstar, we'd had tickets outside for months. So there was a lot of protesting around religious themes in other art forms, but well, I can't always, to be honest with you, we were 9 weeks out in Tunisia, and then we came back and we had to do a little bit more filming in, well, like a chalk pit in somewhere outside London, because I had to really shoot bits. So for me, it would have been about 10 weeks' work, and I can't remember doing any rehearsing until we got out on the site. I mean, on location. I mean, there may have been some rehearsing previous, but I can't remember it. Well, again, you see that Hair and all these shows that were everybody stripped off. So again, it wasn't like such a big deal. And because, I mean, it wasn't in any way salacious. You know, it was just particularly, you know, it wasn't anything sexually kind of horrible. And I asked for a closed set, which means that only the people working turn up. And I thought, you know, I got on with the money. I didn't think it was going to be a problem.
Process
Changes all the time because the money ran out. They had to get people. You know, it was. I wasn't really. Privy to all the money things, but you couldn't help hearing that. And then the Beatles, you know, George Harrison. He then wrote it, whatever it was. You know, there was lots of things going on that I think it was Bernard Delfont. I mean, you'll have to look this up. I can't remember the exact story. I think when he saw the script, he was going to, and he said, "Oh, you must be joking, I'm not doing this." And then at the last minute, I think George Harrison said, "I'll back it." Again, as I say, I wasn't in on all this, but I think we were hearing that, because I don't know how much it cost, 2 or 3 million, which is nothing now, but then it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a gamble, because they hadn't done a film before. I mean, they were popular on the TV, but they were, again, very niche, and it could have been disastrous financially. I mean, they weren't to know there was going to be such a success. Well, I think you have to be versatile, you know, that you're willing to act, write, well, do the ones you can do. Obviously you can't do things that you're not good at or that you don't like. And every job you do it 150%, even if it's a crap job. Do you know what I mean? If it's something you loathe, you still do it your best shot, because you never know, somebody's in that audience who will remember you 2 years later and put you up for something. You really are only as good as your last job, and you just have to have a passion for it, otherwise you wouldn't stick at it, because you never know when the next wage packet's coming in.
Great, thank you very much.
My pleasure.